Welcome back, my students, to another episode of Comic Class. In today's video, guys, I want to talk about something that happened in the comic community last week, which is a situation dealing with people trying to discredit Rob Liefeld's success in the 90s. And I thought this would make a really good discussion video, guys, because it's something that I've noticed happens on Twitter, especially when it comes to the comic community. And we're talking about, like, you know, higher ups talking to each other, bad-mouthing each other, and just the negativity that surrounds Twitter when it comes to the comic industry. So let's talk about this. So Rob Liefeld was attacked. I think it was by Dan Slott. Basically trying to discredit Rob Liefeld's success with X-Force in the 90s. He basically has the record, I believe, for the second highest selling comic of all time. And he had a lot of people, you know, regular people, you know, comic fans, but also higher ups that were trying to discredit Rob Liefeld's success and saying that comic sales, that not all of them were, you know, actually being sold to people, but instead, like, going to retailers, that somehow that doesn't count towards the sales numbers. Now, my problem with this whole situation, guys, is number one, we have a sales chart for a reason. These sales charts have been around since the 90s, since, you know, Rob Liefeld broke this record. We know, I believe Jim Lee has the number one record. It's either that or Star Wars. I believe it's Jim Lee that has the record for highest selling comic with X-Men number one. But yeah, Rob Liefeld, since the 90s, has had this record, if I'm correct. And we have never made this a topic of contention, basically, like, you know, arguing people's place in comic history. But because of Twitter, and because of people either not, agreeing with people's politics, or the way that they handle themselves, you know, how they treat others, that somehow that we have to take away people's respect or their legacy from them and their accomplishments because we don't like the person personally or, you know, professionally and stuff like that. Or even for us comic fans, maybe you don't like the work they do at all and don't enjoy their comics or, you know, their characters or anything to do with their writing and stuff or art. Now, Rob Liefeld, I'm going to make this very clear. I am not a fan of Rob Liefeld. I haven't read a lot from him, but his art style is definitely not for me. But with that being said, guys, what I saw on Twitter the last few days on the disrespect that happened to Rob Liefeld, I feel like what we saw with Rob Liefeld would never be said about Jim Lee. And I love Jim Lee as well. Jim Lee's a legend. But I think it tells you that this isn't about comics. This is about either politics or how the person responded to somebody. You know, maybe you don't like the guy personally. You know, some of these comic creators like Dan Slott might not like Rob Liefeld personally, and that's fine. I want to make this very clear. You aren't obligated to like somebody at all. You know, we all like certain people, we all dislike certain people. But I think when we take matters to our own hands and we say we're going to be negative and try to even, like, get this guy fired, like, I think people were saying they don't like that. I guess Marvel decided to bring him back for X-Force because they had gotten a ton of pushback from his fans about having X-Force without Rob Liefeld, the creator of the series, or, you know, the team or something like that. The guy who made them what they are is very understandable. And the comments that you were seeing with people trying to attack Rob Liefeld, saying that, you know, he shouldn't even have a job, it just blows my mind. You know, I don't like someone like Tom King. Tom King, to me, ruined Batman, and I really don't like him as writer. I really don't like him. But to say I don't want him to have even a job is crazy to me. These people have a job to feed their families, feed themselves, you know, to live a life. You know, this is their job, their livelihood. And just because you don't like someone or their politics or just in general don't like the person doesn't give you the right to take away their livelihood. And I think that this is something that really just, like, got under my skin. Because, like I said, something like, you know, doing this to someone like Jim Lee probably will never happen. And that's because Jim Lee is very professional and he does keep it real almost 100%. But in exchange, you have someone like Rob Liefeld that's very down to earth, you know, very grounded. He tries to act like a normal person, and he's getting attacked for it and almost, you know, trying to get blacklisted by people. You know, people are trying to blacklist him for Marvel Comics, it seems, and it just blows my mind. You can't blame readers for loving your creator. Like I just said, I'm not really a fan of Rob Liefeld. I'm not mad that he's coming back and his fans get to see his work. They're the ones that are going to read his work, that are going to buy his work, that are going to support his livelihood. They want the guy who made the series they love to come back, and Marvel made the right decision to bring this guy back and to give the fans what they want. The fans are always right. The customer is always right. When comics listen to the fans, we all win. Just comics sell more, comics become more well known. You might get more traction, more publicity. People might want to, tell other people to read comics, and you might have advertisements. Comics itself can grow exponentially if we allow it to. And it's the negativity in this community that really just blows my mind, that we try to cancel creators. We try to badmouth people that enjoy comics because they have different views or politics than us, and it blows my mind. There's room for all politics in comics. I'm not one of those ones that thinks that politics shouldn't be in comics at all, but I do think all politics should be in comics. It should not be only one side of political leaning, and we also shouldn't treat people differently because they have a different political view than we do. If I have fans that view things differently than I do politically, I don't care, because you're my fans and you're watching my videos for my content, and I hope that I can entertain y'all with these videos and educate y'all on the stories that I love and that I want to share with you guys, as well as topics that I want to talk about with you guys. And I don't know, I found it really sad that this happened on Twitter. Just seeing comic creators coming out, and they came out on both sides, and that's one thing I was impressed by, is they had someone like Dan Jurgens, I believe, that was coming out and saying that he himself feels very scummy about what's going on with people trying to rewrite history, because Rob Liefeld earned his place. You don't need to like his work. I don't personally. Maybe I haven't read enough of him. Maybe one day I'll read more stuff. I'll really dive into his work collection, and maybe I will like him. But right now, I'm just not a fan of his artwork. I'm not a fan of his character designs, and there's nothing about his books that drive me towards it. But that doesn't matter, because he did earn his place. And when you look at the comic history of what was going on when Image was created, it's very important for the indie comic scene, the self-published creators. It's because of people like Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, and all the other people in Image that founded Image, that we have a future for people like me that want to make my own comics in the future. That we get a chance to not work for companies like Marvel and DC and be owned by publishers, and that only is a thing because these people made that sacrifice and took that chance, and they should never be erased from history for being those people that took that chance and were successful in doing so. Yeah, they fell in I think it was 1994 or something, 1995. They weren't the same as they were in 1991, I believe is when Image was founded. In those first 2 to 3 years, 1992, 1993. But that doesn't change the fact that they made history with Marvel, and they definitely should always have their place in our history and comic history. So don't take that away from them, and don't try to discredit creators because you don't like them personally, or don't agree with them politically. Don't try to cancel people because you don't like them or agree with them. And that's basically the lesson for this video. that I want to put out for you guys. Just be nice, be positive. With this negativity that is in the comic community every day is just crazy, and I'm glad to see that there was a lot of people being positive and supporting Rob and saying that we need to keep our history and not try to rewrite it because we don't like someone or don't agree with them politically. But that's gonna be all, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion video. What are your thoughts? Did you hear about this on Twitter? If you're on Twitter and you're into the comic community, you're not subscribed, but following a lot of these creators, or follow just comic people in general that love comics, just regular fans, you definitely had to have seen this. This is a big deal in the last few days that Rob Liefeld was trying to get canceled, basically. Not him trying to get canceled, but people were trying to cancel him. Was being attacked by comic creators themselves, was being defended by comic creators themselves, and it seems like it's a battle of politics and personal likability, I guess you could say, and these relationships that these comic creators have with each other, and it's just very petty. And I really hope that they learn that these things should not have a place in the comic community. Comments first. Make sure you make good comments. Make sure you treat your fans right and get them excited for comics. Don't attack each other as creators, and respect each other's works and accomplishments, and just try to be the best person you can be. Stop trying to be better than the other person. Make a good, successful career for yourself and let your work speak for itself. But that's gonna be all, guys. Until next video, guys, God bless you. Until next lesson, keep on reading those comments.
I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity, so I could see how you react.